Yes.
So utaki kuonyesha
bado
ni mlevi or you're doing drugs. So I wouldn't say it's something that you stop instantly. No, it's a continuous. That's why even this first season is called Becoming.
Been thinking about.
Yeah.
We forgot to say that everything was planned out. It's totally. Just that we didn't begin to do this thing. And there's something beautiful about putting your mind to something and really doing it. So sketching I think this is where I'm supposed to be. Boys and girls, welcome to Konversationz, a safe space for real-life conversations concerning faith, life, and becoming. I am your host. I am Jay here on all social media platforms, and I am joined with
Victor. That is Victor with a K.
Yes. So today we're having an honest conversation about why we started Konversationz.
Yeah.
So, and I want you to take us through the thought process into why we decided to do Konversationz.
Well, I started way back, I think, in 2025. When
it's just last year. Way back in last year.
It seems long, but it started in 2025 and mid 2025, and I just felt deep down, in our generation, like religion, when it came to Christianity, like there is nobody to understand the modern day, generation. That is a Gen Z, to be specific. Yep. Like you would find there's so much pressure on the Gen Z to go to church or rather to be a Christian, and there is nobody to understand their side, like what they are going through. Some maybe it's confidence, self-identity. They don't have that self-identity.
Yeah.
So when I thought about it, and now the modern day, most people are going majorly social media.
Yeah.
So reaching out to that person who is there, you have to do it through social media.
For sure.
So I thought about it, and that's when I came to you with the idea of a podcast where we can have a conversation, just me and you. And we have been friends for quite a while. So I feel...
Since 2022.
Really?
Yes, February 2022.
Yeah. So we became friends, and I feel from our friendship, we can have an honest and a real conversation.
That's beautiful. I think on my end, why I thought we needed to have such a platform was I have been through a lot of issues, and I feel a lot of young people out here can resonate with the number of issues, be it love, be it financial struggles, be it traumas. I believe these are some of the things we will get to discuss as time goes. So these are some of the things that we have experienced and we'll need to discuss them. I think for me, I love young people, and when we met, I think I mentioned it that I really love young people. And anytime I see young people struggling or in pain, that really tugs at my heart. Niko, why is this person struggling? Na kuna watu wanaweza muongelesha. And for me, I have been in spaces where nashindwa who to talk to. Let's even begin with love. I think everyone has been at a point where they've been in a relationship and it has ended either badly or in a good way. And I think I got proper advice. There are people who worked with me, especially in the most recent one. There are people who worked with me and they really helped me. But I think this is a platform where we get to share our life stories. So before hata tuende sana, what do you think is one thing you can share that with our people? Unaweza sema, I think this is something kuna mtu anapitia huko nje, you'd want to share, mwambie, by the way, I went through this and I was able to come out of it.
Okay, umeanza mapema, but Well, before I continue, subscribe, like and share.
Yes.
Yeah, Konversation, all social media platforms. Yes. So before I go on, there is one thing you've mentioned, that as a young person, you find there are peers above, there are people who are above you, and you're wondering how to reach them.
Yes.
So you keep it in within, like your circle. You don't want to share it with anybody. Nobody understands you.
Yep.
So my reason, my experience, my very, is it raw experience that I remember was when I was back in college. And hey, why are you laughing? You know that story.
College stories are always amazing.
Oh, amazing. So back in college, college love,
Yep.
fell in love with this girl. And then she cheated on me with my best friend. So you can imagine. And
Beware of your friends.
Yeah.
Beware of your friends.
Yeah. And then we used to call each other brothers. So, and then, as a young person, you're doing things, out of love. So apparently I even drew a tattoo.
Eish, sawa.
So, and after the breakup, I never found anybody to talk to. Like there was nobody to talk to. And at that time, when you approach, Christian brothers, they will tell you, go and pray,
Yeah.
God will sort you out. And that works. Yes, it works. There's a part of prayer and there's a part of God. But also you need somebody to listen to you vent,
Yep.
akusikize tu yani, and maybe even cry.
Yeah.
No, men, we are not meant to cry. Ni kukaa ngumu. But at that moment, I never felt, nobody was there for me.
Yep.
So I had to go through that heartbreak alone.
Yep.
Vumilia tu, and I would see the girl, nashikilia tu emotions.
Yeah.
And I feel that also has sparked something right now in this podcast for, coming up with this podcast. That if I had somebody to talk to, maybe I couldn't have made some decisions that I made. If I had somebody who could just listen to me, I feel I could have been at a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you think you are too early kuingia kwa relationships?
Recently I was watching a movie and the lady asked, and the other lady, do you control how you feel? So can you control falling in love?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you also.
I think you can. I think you can.
So you can say
I think you can.
no to love.
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay.
Personally, I think you can say no to love. Here's why I'm saying this. You find people, mtu ako so engrossed kwa job. Maybe amesema, you know what, I want to be a doctor. I will take however long it takes. I will not take, sitakuwa na distractions, standard dunda, stakatiana. I'll focus on books. Maybe that person has made a conscious decision. Yeah. I don't care how I will look in front of my peers, but mimi, I have a goal. So I think you can choose to not fall in love, or I think you can.
Okay, so you can choose not to fall in love, but you can't control how you feel.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yes.
You can't control how you feel.
Okay.
So please, if you're there, hapo kwa comment, write to us, can you control how you feel? How you know your emotions? Yeah. Because I feel you can't control how you feel. If you fall in love, you fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you fall in love, that's why if you're angry, you can't control being angry.
Yeah.
You get that. If you're angry, you're angry. And actually the Bible says it's okay to be angry, but do not sin. You get.
Yep.
So I feel like falling in love or getting into a relationship is not something you can control. Even as a teenager, you can fall in love, but what you do after, now, those are predicaments of it. Yeah.
You know, you've mentioned that, nakumbuka, when I was in high school. Yako ilianza college. Yangu ilianza high school. my first heartbreak, I was in high school. And this is why I usually say, you know, when our folks tell us, ukienda shule, uwe soma. Achana na mapenzi, achana sijui na nini.
Yeah.
Right now, I see the truth in that. But then mzazi ananiambia kitu kama hiyo.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
So I feel oftentimes, so mimi nikiwa high school, there was this kagal. No, I was in Form 1. Yeah, I was in Form 1. I had just joined school and I saw a chick and go like, hey, this chick is fine.
Yeah.
So it developed as a crush. Kumbe she had hots for Form 4 guy. So mimi niko ile siku nilijua, I was heartbroken manze.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can't really choose not to, but it's what you do afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? So what happened is, in the midst of that crashing and all this whole thing ending, I really, my education, my studies zili dive, you know.
Dive down.
I had really focused on the relationship, writing writing notes, calligraphy pale, notes kidogo, napiga perfume. No, I was actually good at that. I was actually good at writing. I was actually good at writing poems.
Yeah.
I'm a lover at heart, but the thing is, it didn't end well for me.
Yeah.
And for that high school kid, I usually say, you might not hear your parents, you might not listen to your folks achana mapenzi sai, because honestly, you are not developed emotionally enough to handle such an emotion.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, when our parents tell us, focus na masomo, we soma. You know, if you like a girl, sawa, but don't put your effort and thinking into that. If it's written in the stars, or whatever it is that people say that you will marry these babes, well and good. But if not, manze, you're still young. You are 17, 16. You have your whole life ahead of you. So I think settling down sahi, no, bado ujamaliza high school, ujaingia college ama university.
Yeah.
So I think it's too early. For me, I think exposing yourself to such things that early, it's detrimental to you eventually. Do you know, ukiumia, first of all, you're not you haven't matured enough to handle a heartbreak.
Yeah.
Look at us, grown men, how we handle breakups at this side. You know, it really takes a lot of opening up yourself to people, like you had mentioned earlier. You know, so I think one of the reasons, the heavy reasons why we chose to really begin this podcast is to address such issues. Like love. Are you too young to expose yourself to such things? So, another thing I feel we have had an interest in, ama tumejipata, is drugs and substance abuse. What can you tell us a bit of your story, Hap?
Okay. So when it comes to drugs and substance, I would say it's a really deep conversation that maybe in the next few episodes we'll focus on that. But as for now, just a little bit of my story is that I started drugs when I was in high school, and you know, it's one of those things, peer pressure.
Yes.
You know, just do some that thing, and alcohol. You know, would finish school, breaking for school, and then out of nowhere, I'm nachangisha dough out of your pocket money, and you're buying all these things. And by there's a proverb that says that experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
So experience has taught me that drugs is one thing that is real delicate and also really is a bad influence. Because if you, like for example, our parents, when they drink, there are some people who drink for stress.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who drink just for fun.
Yeah.
People who drink, like I remember when I was a bit young,
Mm-hmm.
I would say one day I would like to be like, Wazungu. The way Wazungu have their own kabia somewhere.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the night, they wake up, just pour a few shots.
Yeah.
It used to look fancy and all that. But then you look at the consequences of it, you find that it really messes you up. Back in college, I never finished college.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped out because of alcohol. Because at the time when I'm getting into studies, or rather into school, I'm totally drunk. So when it came to my NEC exams, I failed. So it led me to dropping out, and I quit studies. So I would say drugs is, when the Bible talks about do not be drunk with wine, and it leads to dissipation.
Yep.
Dissipation in that part means it leads to a lot of wickedness.
Yes.
That's why you find drunk people, they get into fights, get into prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I'm not talking this out of I'm perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there.
Yep.
I've done that. Are you together?
Yep.
So drugs, alcohol will make you do things very unnecessary.
Yep.
All right. There is also a proverb, a whole chapter. It says that look at who is drunk. All right.
Yep.
He that begins fight.
Mm-hmm.
He that wakes up in the morning and asks for another shot.
Yep.
It's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in Proverbs 18 or something.
Yeah.
Or 17. So you find that drugs and alcohol abuse is something that in our modern generation, we don't want to talk about it, but being real out there, being real with you out there it will lead you to so many places that 15 years down the line, you'll live to
regret. Yep.
Yeah. One of my stories, and I think if you know me, you'll know this story, is that drugs led me to prison.
Yep.
I was in prison at one point because of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I was caught peddling bang, and it led me to prison.
Yeah.
And it was one of those moments, if you have ever seen your mother cry because of you, or you feel it.
Yeah, true.
But ile ukichwa ngumu, stubbornness, when you are a teenager, you don't care.
Yeah.
So even after that, I still went back, and years down the line is when you say, that if I had constructively used my time within these 3 years, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
So that is an area I think, in one of our topics we'll discuss more on this. And you might be struggling out there, even when I got born again, it's not like I stopped. I didn't stop instantly.
Yes.
Again, I didn't stop. It's an addiction.
Yes.
So I continued, but chini ya maji, nobody
knows.
Everybody knows you are born again.
Yes.
So hutaki kuonyesha
bado
ni mlevi or you're doing drugs. So I wouldn't say it's something that you stop instantly. No, it's a continuous. That's why even this first season is called Becoming.
Yep.
So you become what you want to become. You grow into it.
Yes.
Yes, it's step by step. Not out of pretense, but it's out of you want to grow. And now here comes that part of where we are saying nobody understand, nobody listened. Because if somebody had listened to me at that time, that I'm still struggling with drugs, I could have reached out to somebody. You get. I could have said, you know what, I'm going through this thing. Help me. You get. Yeah. So that's my experience.
There's something you've mentioned. Our pastor, there's one Sunday that he was praying for us. It was an evening service, an unquenchable fire service, and he was prophesying that you will get cars.
Yeah.
But he asked a question. I have prophesied that you will have cars.
Yeah.
How many of you have drivers? How many you have driving licenses?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel this first season of us becoming is an introduction of who we want to be.
Yeah.
We want to be people, young people can look at us and see people who can inspire transformation in their lives.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of our core reasons why we began this podcast, so that we can change young people's lives.
Yeah.
Mtu hapo nje, maybe they're struggling with alcohol, bag, they're struggling with all of these vices. They'll look at Victor Pale and they see, if he changed, I can change. If Collins changed, I can change. Sure. If someone else, we have prominent people who share their testimonies, and we really pray that we get to host them. How they struggled with some of these things and they were able to overcome them. So I think that's why we are doing this, to try and change young people.
And I wouldn't say like change per se. I would say like transform their minds. That's because once you are transformed your mind, you begin to grow into it.
Yes.
You get because if I grew up seeing my father drunk. There is no way you will change my mind. Two things will happen. Either you take it positive or negative.
True.
So if I decide positively, I'll never become like my father. There is no way it will change me. So even if I go to high school and I find this peer pressure, there is no way it will change me. Negative side, if I see these, my father drinks and he's always nice to my family, my mom. There is no way you'll change me. That alcohol is not good.
You'll see it as a good thing.
You'll see it as a good thing. But you're saying the transformation of mind in terms of the way people think, like you transform their thinking. I was reading a book, the 48 Laws of Power. And there is a story there that there is one king back in the 1520s. There's one king who wanted to divorce the wife because he was not giving him a son. So he wanted an heir. So he was not giving him a son. So he wanted to change the wife.
Get a new one.
That new one. Maybe. So he had a counselor, right? The counselor told him there is no need. And then he had an advisor, counselor and advisor. So the advisor was a pope, Catholic pope. And then the counselor was one of his, those ministers. So they both advised the king not to do that. But the king, you could not change the king's mind. So he fired both of them and actually made them get killed. But at the end of time, there was like a cobbler, just around. He was used to, sew the king's shoes. So he gave him an idea. Why don't you, take another wife? And then the cobbler went and bought a painting of a queen I think in England or something, and brought it to the king. The king saw the painting and he liked the lady in the painting and said, I want this. Only for the lady, the queen to come to the king. But the king did not like the queen.
Okay.
Right?
But he liked the painting.
And the cobbler had changed his mind, right? Of getting now another wife. So, and then now this cobbler was a Protestant. He didn't like the Catholic things. So when he was brought in because of the idea of the painting, he also brought the idea of the Protestant, right? So in this course, he changed the king's mind, or rather he transformed the king's mind to thinking that the Protestants were right and the Catholics were not
were wrong.
So he transformed his mind through the painting. You get it?
Yeah.
So when you transform somebody's mind, themselves, they will end up wanting to change.
Yes.
But when you force change into them, they will resent you. You get? That's why the king killed those guys.
The advisor
and the counselor, the pope and the minister. So when we are talking about all these things, we are not trying to change you.
Yeah.
No. We are not trying to seem perfect. We are not trying to seem, we are the correct ones, Christianity, because one day we would want to host Islams.
Yes.
We would want to host Buddhists. Because we don't want to make it like we are the correct ones, we are the right ones. We want to hear people's opinions.
True.
So that we can a transformation of the way we think. Yes.
Yeah. So another thing or another topic I think we'll have to discuss in the consecutive episodes is how you gave your life to Christ, or rather how we gave our life to Christ. How was that story?
Oh, that's a funny story. And it's one of those stories like you look back and you're like, man, how God works things out is amazing. Do I give the story now?
Just
a snippet.
A snippet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was back in 2018. Yes, and I was. The Bible says of, Satan. He went to heaven and God asked him, "Where are you from?" He said, "To and fro." So I was just to and fro Naivasha, just doing my rounds, and I was, chewing my miraa from Naivasha town, headed to my place. And as I was, in my endeavors, I just passed a church and I could hear voices, not like voices in my head, but
from the church.
They were doing their practice.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, these are beautiful church to come to." And at that, back in the days, I used to love going to church. All right. But I never used to love going to church. All right. It was just for, if my mother calls, "Did you go to church?" I would say yes.
I was in church. Yeah.
I was in church. So, and I used to like majorly the preaching. Before and after the preaching, I wouldn't do anything. So I would come in when just the preacher had started preaching and then leave immediately. So at this moment, I decided, you know what, tomorrow is Sunday. I'm going to come to this church. So went home, still, chewing what we call aluta continua, all night.
Yeah.
And, with my small
beverage
right there.
Yeah.
So I I had it all night. So the next morning around 8, I remembered I was supposed to go to church. So venye tu niliamka, woke up with a vest, a short, and I just wore my Timberlands and I just walked out.
I think we'll look for that photo. We'll look for that photo.
So I just went to church that way.
Yeah.
So while I was in church, I was super hungover, super hungover. I was just leaning on a pillar like this and then just sleeping off. So I still remember the preaching to this day. It was titled, "You Reap What You Sow." I think that was a threatening message. So you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So at that moment, as I was listening, the preacher of the day said, "Whatever you are taking your parents through, that is the same thing you will reap." I was like, wait a minute. All the things I've done to my parents, you want to tell me I'll reap that? I said, nah. Then he said, "If you want to change that course of your life, come give your life to Christ."
Wow.
So at that moment, I just realized, you know what? I need to change
your life.
My life. I need to change what I'm doing. I need a change in my life. You see?
Yeah.
So it was my own decision to change. You get? So at that moment, I just decided, you know what? Let me give my life to Christ. And since 2018, I remember 2018, March 25th. Yeah. To this day. By the grace of God.
True. There's something while you are giving that your backstory.
Yeah.
It just came to my mind that a lot of us young people fall into these traps, either due to lack of someone to talk to.
Sure.
Yeah. Or you have a lot of dreams and hopes and ambitions, and you feel nothing is working.
True.
So it causes you to deviate and fall into all of this issues. So these are some of the issues and topics that we'll get to discuss. Don't fear wherever you are. God is with you. You don't have to feel pressured to perform, so to speak.
Yes.
So I think these are some of the many, very, very, very many topics that we are going to handle.
Yeah.
And then we have the sky is the limit.
True.
It's 2026, so that's how we began this thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that this is something we had been thinking about.
Yeah.
We forgot to say that everything was planned out. It's just that we didn't begin.
Yeah.
So it was when the last week of December 2025. That's when I reached out and said, you know what, we need to do this thing.
Yeah.
We need to do this thing. And there's something beautiful about putting your mind to something and really doing it, because you never know what doors may open.
Yeah.
And we're not doing this out of doors for doors to open to us, but you never know what God will, how God will use you to impact someone else's life. And out of our love for young people, I think we believe that this is a platform that will, like you said, cause transformation of people's mind.
Yeah.
Mtu asikae chini ya aseme, I think this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
In mediocrity. I had gone to an event, to a corporate event.
Yeah.
Someone had invited me to be their plus one.
Yeah.
So at this event, it was a tech event. So me niki mingle na say I happened to meet a young guy. So tunaongea, and then I just asked the guy, how old are you? The guy told me I'm 16 years old. First of all, it got me thinking, as a 16-year-old, what was I doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was I exposed to?
Sure.
Yeah. And it sparked a conversation going home with this person, because we're talking and thinking, are we a product of what our parents have exposed us to, or what we have exposed us, or what we have exposed ourselves to?
Yeah.
For example, if umezaliwa Naivasha Kayole, we've been raised ukasomea high school, ukapata, maybe ulienda college, there are colleges in Naivasha, ukaenda college Naivasha, ukapata bibi mtoi. Do you think that person will have the mentality that I think I am built for greater things, as compared to someone who was, let's use Naivasha, mtu amezaliwa Naivasha, same place, Naivasha Kayole, sindio? But high school akapelekwa boarding Nakuru or somewhere else. Akiwa Nakuru, he was exposed, or he or she akakuwa exposed to kids from Nairobi, Mombasa.
Yeah, sure.
At the point of high school, mtoto ashakuwa exposed.
True.
Sindio? Na yeye akajituma, or out of kumingle na people from other areas, then you get to open your mind. And it got me thinking, Sai, if at 16 years old I was exposed to certain content, or a certain life, do you think I'd be here? I think these are some of the questions we need to ask ourselves. Like, maybe mzazi kwa level yake alikufikisha kole, hata kama umesoma Naivasha. Does that mean sasa wewe that wewe sasa the four corners of Naivasha, that is the only place you can be? So I think we are here to just speak to young people and tell them, you know what, your situation don't define you.
Yeah.
You might be thinking you want to be the president, the sky is the limit. I usually say, earlier this last week, my younger brother asked me, and I felt if I bust this bubble for this kid, manze, that's it.
Yeah.
Aliniuliza, so his favorite superhero ni Spider-Man. Aliniuliza, Spider-Man anakuanga real? Kwanza nikamwangalia niko like, yeah. Nikimwambia yuko real.
Yeah.
It will be. So I kept quiet.
Yeah.
Then akaniuliza, na Captain America, that's his
second.
Spider-Man, Captain America. Yeah. Na Captain America sema. Saa ikafika mahali niko like, saa kwa nini mdanganya? Nikamwambia hawako real. So saa akaniuliza, na wewe favorite superhero wako ni gani? Nikamwambia Thor. Thor is my favorite superhero. But I feel like in the movies that we are shown, he's usually. You mean a god can be beaten by someone with a suit of armor? But anyway, that's a story for another day. But I told him, look, I don't think ni mtu tu alikaa chini akaandika the story, and I actually got him a comic. I got him a Spider-Man comic. So nikamwambia, unaona mtu, and we googled Stan Lee. This is the person and some other guy.
Yeah.
But I mentioned Stan Lee. Huyu ndo alikaa chini akaandika come up na hizi characters zote. Yeah. But I could see I've just burst a bubble for this kid.
Yeah.
And I usually feel you see, for my younger brother, I have intentionally decided what I wasn't exposed to, I will expose that kind of content. Yeah. Or I'll expose if ni kuenda shows.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with my mom. Alikuwa niambia kwa simu aliweka password ndo juu yake juu ya mtoi.
Yeah.
A few months later,
yeah.
Anafungua simu bila like she saw Liam akifungua simu akashindwa, how did this child even get to know?
Yeah.
And I think it's that's intentionality on. I don't know if that was intentionally by mom doing, but I think personally, I have decided, you know what, I will expose him to certain kinds of things.
Yeah.
Though by the time anafika a certain age, hata kuwa carried away.
Sure.
I usually say when I have a child, a girl to be specific, I will take this kid out. I will take her out. Ndampeleka dinner dates, all of these things.
Nice.
Ndo mtoto wangu msichana asikuwe chipod na some fries. Like you get. Yeah. So if I expose my daughter to, I'm not saying such a life, it will demand, if my dad did this for me, I need you to do this for me. No, you expose her to a certain life, though as you feel this is the bare minimum for you to take me. I feel like we are diverting, but all in all, it's all about trying to transform the minds. History, it's all directed to really transforming your thinking.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's our main core. Those are our core values.
Yeah. When you're talking about exposing ourselves, when you are 16, you never used to have YouTube.
I was there YouTube baby. Hata uko na smartphone. 16.
When you are 16, was there YouTube?
YouTube ilikuja lini? But I think there was YouTube. Apana, let's do the math. How old was I?
2015, 2016.
There was YouTube then.
Really?
Yeah, there was YouTube. Let's see.
It's those times when I used to go to cyber to watch.
Yes.
Ama kuingia Facebook.
2009 ndo nilikuwa 12 years old.
Don't expose your years.
So it's not a big deal. But yes, it's really amazing that we get to expose ourselves to some of these things.
Yeah, so when you're saying that about high school and all that, I remember one of my intentional ways of growing was I schooled in Kithongori, Kiambu.
Yep.
And I used to come back home at Limuru. So my grandparents, they used to be backwards, backward way of thinking.
Yep.
So they would tell me from Kiambu straight home.
Back home.
I told myself no. So I would go to Nairobi, spend like the whole day in Nairobi, just watching, and definitely utapotea. The only place you used to know was Afya Center and Archives.
Yeah.
So ukipotea in between, you just look for the green.
Yeah, after grow green.
For the green, so in high school, that is when I told myself I need to grow. And that's how, exposing yourself is also intentional.
Yes.
Like when you talk about conferences, you took yourself to that conference. Yep. So I would say even like those people who are watching us, even meeting this podcast, or rather even looking for it, subscribing to it, is an intentional way of growing.
Yes.
Again, is very intentional. Taking a book and reading is very intentional. I would say that, like the recent riots, or, we had here in Naivasha, they went to the Safari Center. They said they took everything. Apart from books. So the book, the shelf pale kwa books was not touched. So you can see that I would say growth is also intentional. Exposing yourself is also intentional. Having, like going to these conferences, exposing yourself to great people, great leaders is very intentional. So even these podcasts would like it to be very intentional, so we will be in and out of, posting things there on YouTube, social media, and it is a way for you to grow, you and I, because as I'm growing, somebody else is growing. So please, guys, check out for this space. You normally say, watch out.
Watch this space. Yes, watch this. You've mentioned a book. What book are you reading?
48, the 48 Laws of Power. There's also another book I'm reading, Having a Mary's Heart in a Mother's World.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful books.
Very, very. Yeah. When you read those books, what about yourself?
I finished a book that I really it's a marriage book. It's something that has really I think when we expose ourselves to certain things, for me, when I'm reading, I am reading to gain knowledge for something that I need to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I am at that season where I am thinking about settling down.
Yeah.
So I have to read up on
things
concerning that.
Yeah.
So I was reading this book, and there's a quote that I sent it to someone, and I really hope I'll find it. It's a beautiful quote. I saw this and I was like, this is something very important. This is something beautiful to share with someone. Let me see. It's Love Bastards. So it's something about annoying habits. It says behaviors repeated without much thought that bother the other spouse. So I sent it to this person because it was something we were discussing, So I'll just mention the discussion. It was about things that we do in relationships, right? That they tend to bother the other person, but you either do them knowingly, or let's say knowingly, or out of ignorance, you keep repeating them. They say it takes 21 days to form a habit.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are trying to, like you said, transform the mind.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a habit I picked, or rather I decided to do since last year. and it's to journal.
Yeah.
The first thing I do after waking up, after I've done my QT, before even touching the phone, see who has texted me or who viewed my status, is write down what do I want to accomplish today.
Yeah.
And write down my goals for the day. That is something that I've been doing consistently since the 1st of November. And like I said, 21 days. So in my mind, in as much as I knew I want this to be a habit, it was hard. At times I would forget and I would write katikati ya siku, but eventually I would do it. But sai, as we're speaking, that's the first thing I'll do.
Yeah.
I even have my notebook. I usually carry it around. Anywhere I'm going, I have whether it's on my bag or whatever, I usually carry it with me because I think this is something that has really grown on me, and for someone out there struggling, we are saying you're on social media, and for some wanna struggle na TikTok, na Instagram. Mtu kitu ya kwanza akiamka hata angoje kuona kama mguu inafanya, or your arm is there, ni ushaingia TikTok. We, in as much as we are telling you our content is on TikTok, is on Instagram, is on YouTube, and for I usually say Facebook ni watu wazee, but if you're on Facebook as well, we are also there. But in as much as you're exposing yourself, don't look at me like that. In as much as you're saying our content is on all of these platforms, it's not atukupati ati ticket here. Sasa you need to be always on your phone. No. You need to develop good habits that will build yourself. Find a book to read. Like I said, I'm reading on Love Busters. He's reading 2 books. Find a book that you can read that will help you grow yourself. And of course, we have the Bible, so you can read that. You can read that as well. It's something that will help you grow spiritually, and growth is important. Last year at our church, it was our year of growth. Do you think you experienced growth?
Well, I would say I did. Actually, I did. And sometimes we think growth is outward. Like for example, a tree. You think growth is seeing a flower. Growth is seeing fruits. Sometimes growth can also be, it is cut off, it grows again. So I feel last year, 2025, I grew in terms of my character. It was and tried and tested.
Trial by fire,
so many different ways. And I feel that like I was under the soil, and I grew this way, not this way.
Okay.
I grew downward in terms of roots. My roots were established. My roots go to source water.
Yes.
So it's like I grew downwards to look for my water. And I feel I grew to a point where, my character
was tried and tested.
Tried and tested. And it was a moment where, you even wonder, am I still growing? Because you feel like everything is going, and I feel I grew too much. I grew. My character was tested and I feel it grew.
That's beautiful. You usually say the year has 12 months, right?
Sure.
If you can go from January to December and experience even a tiny bit of change in your life, it's changed nonetheless.
Sure.
No matter how small or how big it is, it's still change.
Sure.
So, in as much as it was our year of growth, I feel like us doing this podcast is a sign of growth on both ends, on both ends, and I mean that me, you, and I.
Man.
Before we began, I told you that I'm used to being on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
So I am trying to get used to this other end. And it's, for me, I'd say that's growth.
Yeah.
That's growth. I think I experienced growth for me on a number of aspects in my life.
Yeah.
I'd say emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotionally.
Yeah.
And then spiritually.
Yeah.
Those are, I think, some of the things that really tested me to should I say to the core?
Yeah.
But those are some of the moments that I felt, hey, these are things that really put me somewhere.
Yeah.
And also skill-wise,
Mm.
in or whatever it is that I'm doing. I intentionally decided, what, exposure as well. I'm going to expose myself to people who are doing far much better than me.
Sure.
Yeah. A wise man once told me, never be in a room where it is you who knows everything.
Mm.
Never be in a room where you are the smartest person.
Nowadays it's clock it.
Yeah. So I usually make an effort to be not the dumbest person in the room, but at least I am surrounded with people who know something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you see me in rooms where people know a lot, I'm usually quiet. I'll ask, you'll find me asking questions. You'll find me observing. How do you do this? How do you do this? For example, if it's a camera, how do you set up this? How let me see. Well, how is this thing done? And I think that has been a great change or a great catalyst for my change and transformation. And I think for someone out there, you might be interested in doing something. Find someone who's better at it than you. Find someone who's doing it better than you. Come on, photography, videography, find someone who is doing it better than you. Find someone who has been there. Kitambo, hata tusende kitambo. For you watch movies, right? Especially movie kama Game of Thrones. These movies that depict life kitambo, kama Vikings. There are these tradecraft skills. Kama kukua, what do you call them? These people who make swords. When it was swordsmith. For you to become one, you had to be under someone, right? So I'm really applying that in my life. Even as we are doing this podcast, there are people who I believe we are looking up to. They're doing great and bigger things than us, and it's just a matter of time for us. It's just a matter of time. But as you see, we say tulianza somewhere with very interesting equipment.
Very funny story.
And I think we'll get to share it one day of how we began. And in itself, it's a blessing. But we are looking forward. We are looking forward to doing this.
Wow.
So
we've come to the end, episode 1.
Yes, the first one. How was the first episode for you?
I feel well, let me put it this way, it's the beginning of a race.
Yes.
You don't know how far you went until you finish the race.
For sure.
That's when your coach tells you ran 15 minutes, you ran almost 30 seconds. So I feel it's just the beginning of the race. And I feel it's something good, it's something nice. Yes, it's something really nice. And you who is out there, support us and let's run this race together.
For sure.
Yes.
Once again, I am Jay here on all social media platforms. TikTok. I'm not really big on TikTok, but I'm on IG. Find me on IG, but find us Konversationz with a K and a Z at the end on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Click subscribe for the next episode.